What's up, outdoorsmen? I'm Greg, and today we're talking about one-stick climbing. A lot of people have asked me over the years about one-stick climbing. I've done it, never really put a lot of time and effort into it, but a couple of my friends have. So I wanted to show this video of Carl Kossuth, aka the Michael Jordan of sewing. When it comes to DIY stuff, Carl is the GOAT. And if he's not the GOAT, it's got to be Garrett Prawl, the DIY sportsman. Garrett did a fantastic video on one-stick climbing. He covered pretty much everything. If you haven't seen it yet, click up in the top and you can go look at Garrett's video. I'll put a link in the description below to Garrett's video as well. But Carl has kind of a unique method as far as one-stick climbing, so I wanted to show that here on my channel. Now, keep in mind, none of this stuff is commercially available as far as like the sticks that they're using, the aiders, pretty much all of that is DIY. So if you do this, you're taking a risk. Anytime you climb above the ground, you're taking your life, your safety into your own hands, especially when you're using gear outside of the manufacturer's specs. So keep that in mind. This is DIY. I'm not endorsing it, saying you should do it. Be careful. If you do this, you might get hurt and it's going to be your fault. It's nobody to blame. Can't blame me. Can't blame Carl. Can't blame Garrett. So with that giant, huge disclaimer out of the way, check out Carl's one-stick method.
Hey guys, Carl Kossuth here, and today I'm going to show you my personalized climbing system. I'm a single-stick climber, kind of refined this last season. One of the good things about my job is that I'm able to play with all kinds of prototype gear, build, and just mess around with stuff that doesn't even exist yet. So this is a prototype single stick I made. Our working name for it is the TIE Fighter stick. This is basically a single stick climbing method and a hunting platform all at once. If I want to, on a quick down and dirty hunt, I can take this and just climb and hunt off of this. Or if I plan on staying for an extended amount of time, then I'll take my Predator platform and use it in conjunction with this. So the stick, really pretty simple. It is has a cam cleat on it with full berry 1/8 inch AM steel for the line. It's 14 inches from step to step. It has a permanently sewn 3-step aider. Each one of these steps is 15 inches. That's just my personal preference at 5'9". It just seemed to work out well for me. So I'll go ahead and put this on the tree and then we'll talk about the rest of it. When I set it, I like to go somewhere right about in there. And the goal is, you can see I just simply lock that into the cam cleat. Now you can roll the line back behind there if you choose to, just for a little bit of extra. I've never had this come out. So generally I'll just make sure that line is clear and put it back there. I'll set that. So the height that I'm setting this at is so I have a pretty convenient first step height for my first aider that I'm going to be stepping into. So the stick is set, and now I'll come down here to the rest of the system. Again, this is a prototype pouch. We don't really even have a name for it yet. It's just a roll pouch, and it rides on my right side. I open that and I drop it down. I have 40 foot of sterling Oplux that lives right here, and it won't move until I'm ready to come down from the tree. This top pocket has the business end of the system, and it consists of climbing rated carabiner with a scaffolding hitch. The scaffolding hitch is kind of key because it's a very stiff hitch and it's very tight, and it keeps that carabiner from flopping around. So it's very stable. And then the brains behind this is the Mad Rock Safeguard. Mad Rock makes 2 of these. One is called the Lifeguard. It's red. That is not the one you want for this system because it has an internal spring that doesn't allow this to operate for this application. So the Mad Rock Safeguard is black in color. It doesn't have an internal spring. That's the one you want. And again, another climbing rated carabiner. Adjust my utilibridge. I like to keep it pretty short when I'm climbing because it allows me to get a little bit more distance per move by having that short bridge. So I'll go ahead and hook in, and then I'll take this end here, and I'm just going to simply drape it over my neck like so, and then I'm ready to go up. So one key thing to climbing on aiders is I call it going toe to tree. You've probably seen guys kick out using aiders, and that's because they're not burying that toe against the tree. And the first step is the most critical because that's where you have the most swinging action on an aider. and it gets less as you go up. So very important, when you lock into that first step, toe to tree, lock in, stabilize it, and then go up. Second step, again, toe to tree, stabilize it, and go up. Third step, and then on up to the stick. So at this point, I'll just step on my stick, and you know, I'm only 5-6 feet off the ground here. I lock my calves in behind this top component, and you can see I'm completely secure and hands-free because I'm locked in. I'll throw my tether slash climbing method about as high as I can reach it. I'll lock it down, and I'll generally lock it just off of center, because when I move, I'm going to be hanging over here to this side to work my stick. So now I'm going to tension this up, and now I'm going to put my weight into the saddle. So here I'm just hanging out. You see I swung around to the side of the tree, and now I'm just going to disengage my stick. I'm going to hook it with my foot, grab a hold of it, pull the am still out of the cleat, and now I'm going to swing around more toward the center. And you can see I'm not expending any energy here. I am 100% relaxed. I'm just kind of hugging the tree. I'm not holding myself up off the tree or anything like that. I'm just hanging out. So now I'm going to throw this back around, and I'm going to put it as high as I can get it. So right underneath my tether. And I'm going to lock it back in, make sure that's clear, pull it to seat it. And now you can see where it's locked in. All I have to do is basically move this foot that far, and I'm back in that bottom aider. Again, toe to tree, climb. Now at this point, I'm putting my arm under the rope, and I'm starting to move this rope up the tree as I go. So I'm starting to move the rope up the tree. The key is you want to keep this rope as high as you can as you climb. So I'll move again, move the rope again. Come back to that bottom step, and now I'm going to go as high as I can reach again. Lock it in, drop my weight back in the saddle, swing over, hook the stick, and then just kind of hug the tree. And I'm just going to repeat it. Get as high as I can. Just make sure you don't go over the top of your tether, because then you can't move it. Seat it down, put my foot back in that first loop, toe to tree, and climb. Moving the rope as I go. So at this point, we're going to call this hunting height. So I'm going to make my adjustment to my utila bridge wherever I want it to be. I like that angle pretty good there. And so now what I always do when I get to this point, I use my bow pull-up rope. Pulls double duty. I keep it in my left hauler. So it's got a heavy hook on the bottom to fish my bow up, and then it's got a lightweight carabiner, or S-binder in this case, on this end. So the S-binder, I'm going to hook this in right behind my scaffolding hitch, and it's going to live there for the duration of the hunt. I always do that as soon as I get set up so I don't forget, because if I forget to do that, then I'm not going to be able to recover the rest of my rig. So at this point, I'm hunting, I've got all my stuff on the tree, and so I'm done, and it's time to get down. So what I do, I'll unhook my rope that's been in that holder and just drop it to the ground. So I'm going to be rappelling down, so I drop all that to the ground. So I have this release lever on the safeguard, and as I apply pressure to it, just use proper rappelling techniques, have a backup brake hand here. As I apply pressure to this, I can start to go down. And what I like to do is I will literally drop myself down in front of my stick. So here again, very comfortable, no effort. I'm gonna pop my stick off. I'm gonna wrap it up. And what I don't have on my saddle today, I left it at the house, I have a Kydex hook that generally is on the back of this saddle. After I wrap this back up, I'll take just that webbing and I'll drop it onto that Kydex hook. So this thing will ride down with me. But I don't have that today, so I'm gonna drop it. So now I'm ready to come down the tree. You can come down as fast or as slow as you want. Again, grab the lever, relieve pressure, brake hand here, and I'm just gonna walk down the tree. So let's say you're on a hard leaning tree. This one's leaning pretty good the opposite way, but I'm doing a pretty good job of staying on the high side. But let's say I don't. Let's say I swing over here to the low side of it. Go with it. Just go with it, let gravity do its thing. And so I'm over here on the low side. It doesn't matter. My end result's the same, is to get on the ground. So I'll go ahead and lower myself. You can free float, you can keep your feet on the tree, you can drop, however fast or slow you want to go. So once I'm on the ground, I have this system in my hand. Pop the carabiner loose. I'm going to pull the carabiner out of the safeguard, throw it in a pocket, or just drop it on the ground. I'm going to open up the safeguard, drop it on the ground, and now I have a free and clear rope. So another key thing about the system is there's no knots on the tail end of the rope. It's clear. So now I'm ready to recover my rope. So I had lowered my bow down. It's already on the ground. So now I have the two lines in the tree. I've got my main line and my bow pull-up rope. So when I pull this, I'm going to hinge that scaffolding hitch out away from the tree, and the whole thing's going to drop. Now, if I had gone around limbs on the way up, it would drop down to the last limb that I went around, but you just keep pulling and the carabiner comes down, the tail end with no knot goes up, and you just pull the whole system down. But in this case, there's no limbs, so I'm going to pull the bow pull-up rope, hinge it, and it drops right down to the ground. And what I like to do is keep everything tidy. I'm going to unhook the bow pull-up rope, I'm going to unhook the carabiner, and I'm going to figure eight both of these ropes and put them back where they go. So we'll start first with the main line. And like I said, this is 40 feet. 40 feet seems to be a good length. You can realistically hunt, depending on the size tree at the top, you can realistically hunt at 34-ish feet at your feet. So you can get pretty good distance. So what I like to do is leave about 6 feet of free line with the carabiner. I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to wrap it. I'm going to pop this off my elbow. It's all figure eighted, so it's ready to drop again and not be tangled. I'm going to fold that in half. Now again, this is a prototype pouch system. It's going to get strapped in here, but you can just as easily drop this into one assist hauler or any pouch. So I'm going to put that right there. Cinch that down. That part's done. Now I'm going to recover my carabiner and my safeguard. And as a right-hander with my carabiner in my left hand, or this carabiner in my left hand, I'm going to feed my oplux right back into the safeguard, close it, put my carabiner right back in how it was, and then I'm going to pull it down somewhere in there. And now it's ready to stow. It's ready to be put away. Zip that up, roll that up, lock it down. So the only thing left is the bow pull-up rope. Again, figure eight. I drop that hook between these fingers. And you can get really quick at this. Do it in the dark. Doesn't matter. The more you practice it, the better you get, just like anything else. So there's that. I'm just going to pop that off my fingers. It's nice and flat. That's going to go in this outside pocket of this little custom pouch here. Zip up. I want to be ready to walk out. I'm going to go back to transportation mode with the utilibridge. I'm going to bring it underneath my hauler or my pouch. Drop the knot in. Grab my stick, and that's it. It's a very, very functional method. I'm into things that don't require a lot of moving parts. Just KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And this is what this is to me. In my opinion, it's, I mean, I love this climbing method. I've tried them all pretty much. And it's 50 state legal. The all in with this custom stick and everything I'm wearing, I'm 5.2 pounds. 5.2 pounds, and most of it I'm wearing. I can carry this or throw it on my backpack or whatever. And like I said, you guys can make your own stick. It doesn't have to be something like this. You can use it in conjunction with a platform or whatever you want to use. But that's the system. And also, as far as the rappelling goes, in my opinion, I don't think there's a safer way to come down from a tree. because you're under tension the entire time you're up there, which makes saddles awesome to begin with. And you're connected to the same rope. There's no transferring of components or loads to a different rope. I'm already hooked up to it. It's just a matter of dropping the rest of it to the ground and then just rappel down. I mean, like I said, in my opinion, it's the safest way out of a tree as far as saddle hunting goes. So appreciate you guys watching, and if you have any questions or comments, put them down below. Thanks a lot.